Hello, this is Von Tauser here, and I'm here with another video. Today's topic is the 5 worst games for the PS3 that I've personally played. This is to essentially clear up any muck like, oh, you didn't play that game, so you can't really say that it sucks. So this is pretty much the 5 games that I personally played that I can for sure tell you that I really think they suck. And I've thought long and hard about it, and, well, here we go. Number 5 on the list, and this is already going to piss off a lot of people, the God of War Collection. This is basically God of War 1 and 2 redone for the PS3. My biggest issues with the games is it takes forever for the actual action to kick up. And even when it thinks it's being dramatic, it really isn't. Like, the first fights are just, well, they're slow. Getting to the point where you're fighting the first bosses is slow. The actual combat is fairly easy, although sometimes when you have difficulty, it's more like just the enemies being really annoying. But pretty much you're just running and running and running. And it takes forever to get to any actual part of the game where you're actually doing something. And God of War 3 fixed that. It had a lot more action to fill the spots in and make it more interesting, but 1 and 2 didn't have that. They just felt really empty. The only thing that was better about them was that 1 had a genuinely better story. 2 had a more interesting boss cast. 3 was more just about him getting pure revenge. But the sad part was it was still just the better game of the 3, regardless of the fact that the storyline was, not as good as the first 2. Sometimes you need good gameplay to balance out with good storyline, otherwise the game just sucks. And that's a good example. So Collection gets number 5 on my list. Number 4 would be Fallout 3. And the reason why I say Fallout 3 is because it's pretty much just running around with, a few guns, some rations, in the middle of, nuked out deserts is what it looked like. And you'll occasionally get action along the lines of maybe some mutated monster or some kind of bandit who wants to steal shit from you. But most of the time, that's just all it is. It's running around, listening to a bunch of bullshit 50s music that I really didn't ask for. And the tutorial at the beginning is way too fucking long. It's like, I could have learned this shit in 3 minutes. Not the 10 minutes that it took you to learn all this crap that they have to take you through. Not to mention that it's just, I don't know, you don't get a lot of likable characters in that game. Maybe the one chick, she's a little bit naive and everything, but it's just an uninteresting game. There's nothing to hook me except the VAT system, which was fun, except the VAT system doesn't get effective until, I'm assuming, the later game. Because at the beginning of the game, you can try pointing the gun across the river and you'll get 23% on a mutant that's fucking huge, like this big across the screen, or some shit like that. And you'll miss that shot, but he'll be shooting with a minigun, and he'll be hitting you with half those bullets and nearly killing you. It's just freaking cheap. There's no reason that they should have that kind of accuracy with a minigun at all. So pretty much it's just, other than that one innovation, it's just a genuinely boring game with no real progression. So that's why it's number 4. Number 3, Bayonetta, another game that's going to get a lot of people riled up. And the reason why I put this as number 3 is because the other 2 games after it are just even worse. But this is probably the worst game as far as a concept I've ever seen. Basically, it's, a witch that pretty much uses sexual moves to basically beat her opponents down and kill them. And this was supposed to be made by the genius that made Devil May Cry, or the supposed genius. And I guess I heard they claimed that this is what he originally wanted to make, not the Devil May Cry series. And I'm looking at this as okay, this is one of those games where when you have something so bad that you can't play through without laughing your ass off at how incredibly offensive and retarded it is. And you come to realize that Capcom managed to force him to make a better game than this game. There's something wrong with you. If you're making a game that's more retarded than a supposed Capcom game where everybody says that the Capcom cast doesn't know how to make a game, but the game's actually good for God's sake. And now I'm talking about Devil May Cry, not Bayonetta, because Bayonetta is a turd. And I hope they don't make a sequel. I really hope they don't make another sequel, because this game is just a disgrace. Number 2, Oblivion. Another nerd rage one. The reason why I hate it is the character creation is way too demanding. You can either basically take, like, half an hour to an hour to actually make your character look decent instead of like a freaking blob, or pretty much just leave him the way he is so he looks like a shit pile. Not that you're looking at his face the majority of the game anyway. You're another mute character who doesn't make very many decisions. You get some big voice actors that die way too quick. You get a lot of people where if you try to talk to them, if you talk to them too many times, they end up hating you. You have plenty of running, which is pretty much like Fallout 3, except worse because you're going through giant landfills that pretty much feel like they're photoshopped. You're not really accomplishing anything other than lots of running, and usually because you're always broke, you have to steal everything, so everybody wants you dead. It's just generally a pain in the ass. And the lag is slow, the story's uninteresting, it's just plain stupid. And they expect you to play all these little side missions before you actually go into the main mission, or else you're going to get owned, because the actual missions are actually hard. And they don't tell you this. You have to figure this shit out on your own. So this is a really non-user-friendly game. So, I mean, if this was the continuation of Morrowind, I'm kind of glad I didn't play the original Morrowind. So, that would be number 2. Number 1 is Two Worlds. This was the biggest shit pile of a game that was ever created. Whoever made this had the entire cast drunk. They had to have, because nobody would be competent enough to allow this game to exist. It's that bad. And this wasn't that bad because of sexual content or anything like that. No. It was just that bad because it was like everybody was going into making this game and they had the mindset that this game was going to epically fail, so why not just make it fail even harder? So, pretty much, you know, you have a guy, no, screw the story. The story just sucks, okay? The voice acting is terrible. The villain doesn't even sound like a villain. He sounds like the nicest guy on the block, except his face is covered in black. And it's like, when you hear him, it's like, this guy is the guy I'm supposed to kill. He doesn't sound like a challenge. I could just stab him in the face right there. Not that it gives you the option. And then it seems like pretty much your main character has this problem with his eyes, that when he's talking, they either go cross or they go outward. So he's never really looking at whatever the hell he's supposed to be looking at. And all the freaking villagers are freaking idiots. Pretty much and then the menu's a joke. The interface menu where you have to find the map, items, and everything. I'm pretty sure on the PC it was a lot better. On the console, though, it's impossible to work. You cannot get the specific parts. It doesn't tell you how to work the interface. They should have an entire freaking tutorial on how to work the interface. That's how bad that is. You would have to have a tutorial for the freaking interface. What the fuck? No game should have to have a tutorial for the interface. No game should have an interface that confusing. It should be move arrow, click, boom, you get what you want. Not move arrow, get nothing, diddly shit because, you find out that the whole thing's freaking glitched. It's a piece of shit. It's like they glitched the whole game on purpose with the stupidest bullshit cast they could possibly find as a giant joke. And anybody who's bought this game and seriously thought it was good is either mentally retarded or crazy. And that's all I can say about that right there. And that is number 1 on my list. Those are the 5 games that I played that are the worst, that I could not even play all the way through because they were just that retarded. And let me hear your comments and everything. I know this is just me ranting, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to have quite a bit to say, because these are all famous games. But you know what? That's just what I think. And I'm probably going to make one for the opposite. So that way you guys have a chance to compare. You'll get to know me a little better. And some of you probably roll your eyes and say, oh god, he likes this crap. But you know what? I'm having fun with this, so feel a little more confident too. Anyway, keep on checking back. I'll have more videos. I'm really glad that you all got to see me again. I got to see you again. So, this is Von Towser signing out.